Good evening. Welcome to We the People Prepping. My name is Dan. Let's have a little discussion tonight about your family and your well-being in an SHTF. Okay. Now, how is your family going to react? Do you have a plan? Can everybody follow through on the plan? Do they know what they're supposed to do? You know, do you have things organized? You know, these are all things you need to think of ahead of time. Sit down with your kids and your wife or your husband, whichever the case may be, and discuss what your plan of action will be in certain events. Okay, you do it, well, I'm assuming most people should be anyhow, doing this with their plan if there's a fire in their home. Okay, it's no different to plan for an SHTF. You know, you plan for every feasible act, you know, that anything that is feasible that could happen. And you don't, you know, I'm not going to tell you to go out and plan for a zombie apocalypse because, come on, you know, odds of that happening are pretty slim to none. You know, I'm not going to tell you to try to prepare for asteroids and, you know, volcanoes. You know, unless you live around a volcano, then yeah, you need to. But you know, I live in the middle of the United States. There's no volcanoes. But you know, plan for those things that are feasible. Riots, you know, fires, tornadoes, you know, well, you've seen how bad things have gotten this year. I mean, if rioters and looters come knocking, what are you going to do? You need to have a plan. You know, this is part of being a prepper. We prepare for the possibility of the things that could happen. Now, some of us go a little extreme and start planning for stuff that's just highly unlikely. Yes, there is a possibility that those things could happen, but the probabilities are high that they won't. You know, whereas there's so many of us out here that actually plan for the probable things. You know, food shortages, riots, you know, natural disasters. You know, I mean, yeah, I live in Illinois, so I'm in the middle of the U.S. Earthquakes are not that common here, but we still have a plan for them because we live along the New Madrid Fault. Okay, so I've taught my kids and everybody what to do in the eventuality of a earthquake. You know, fires, tornadoes. I've taught them how and where to take cover at during a tornado. You know, these are all things that you should be working together as a family, planning these things out, having escape routes. You know, for a tornado, for a riot. You know, uh, you know, like my family, we have a designated meetup area. Okay, but everybody also knows exactly where our bug out location is at. So if we all do not meet up at our meetup area, or we aren't able to meet up there, our fallback location is our bug out location. And then we have a separate, a secondary bug out location. So if you go to the first bug out location and nobody's there, you head to the second one. Okay. But all of my family, my kids, my wife, and those that are close to us that know where all of our stuff are located, they all know our plans. Okay. I have taught my kids from the time they were young about firearms. I've taught them how to use them, how to clean them, how to store them. You know, all about gun safety. Okay, just plain and simple. You know, we also use bows, you know, so my kids are pretty proficient with archery, you know, uh, especially where I live because we have bow hunting season. So, and we like our deer meat, you know. But you know, these are all things that you need to discuss, sit down as a family, get everybody on the same page. Like in my family, you know, a lot of people, the husband and wife will argue about who's going to do what and so forth. In my family, we have it set up already. We know ahead of time. If there's a disagreement between me and my wife, then it's my decision. We go with what I decide. And if I'm wrong, then it's on my shoulders, on my head. Okay? I take full responsibility. If I make the decision and it turns out bad, then it's on me. I take the blame. But, you know, my wife has a tendency to panic in an emergency. It's something we're still working on. But, you know, some people, they're not good under that kind of pressure. You know, I've, since I married my wife a few years back, I mean, I've been teaching her survival skills. Some of them she's picked up on fairly quick. Some of them, whew, still needs a lot of work, you know. For instance, she can't deal with, you know, having to kill a wild game and field dress it and all that. But no, I have a feeling. I mean, she's been watching me do it enough that she might, if I wasn't around and she had to do it for herself, I think she might be able to do it. You know, I've taught her what to eat, what she can eat in the wild, and what she can't. What bushes to stay away from. You know, and you know, taught her about poison ivy, sumac, you know, oak, all that. So that when we're out in the woods, she won't mess up and wind up putting herself in jeopardy or in pain. You know, I've been teaching her, well, some of the skills that I've taught my children, like how to make or purify your own water. You know, these are all skills that you should be passing down to your kids and to your wife and or husband, whichever one of you knows how to do these things. But you know, you have to have an actual structure, and in an SHTF, everybody in your family needs to know that who's in charge. Okay, who is in command, and what, you know, that when that person tells them that they are to do something, they need to do it. If you tell them to shut up, they should shut up. You know, you tell them to get down, they should get down. I mean, because it can come right down to that. And, you know, like with my wife and my kids and everything, we've worked on hand signals. So that if we are out and being followed or whatever, that we pay close attention to each other and watch for hand signals to tell each other what to do. You know, these are just little things that most people don't think about. You know, but they can become life or death situations in the wild. You know, now my health isn't the greatest in the world, so you know I'm going to bunker in as much as possible. You know, I'm out of shape. I'm overweight. Can I do these things still? Yes, I go out and do them all the time with my wife and my children. You know, it's a little more strenuous than it used to be, being as I'm overweight and got some health problems. You know, I've had both of my knees replaced, so you know that should tell you right there. That's going to make things a little more difficult for me. I can't run, so you know if it comes to fight or flight, I'm going to have to stand my ground and fight. You know, but while I'm fighting, my family all knows that if it comes to that and I'm having to stand my ground, they're all to get the hell out of there. You know, don't worry about me. Get to safety. Because if I'm having to stand and fight, things are really bad, and they don't need to get involved. They need to find a way to escape. Because I'm going to hold off, well, everybody I can anyhow. Now if it's to where they're going to give pursuit, even though I'm fighting, then my family will probably stand and fight. But as a general rule, I've told them and I've taught them that if say that there's 2 or 3 people and our lives are in danger, if I'm standing my ground, they need to get the hell out of there. We've discussed what to do. If say that people start starving and come trying to take our food, we've discussed how to deal with those situations. We've discussed how to defend our property. We sat down and we discussed all of these things. These things are the things that you need to discuss with your family to get ready in case of an SHTF. Remember, the best weapon you have is what's between your ears. Because a lot of these people out here won't be thinking things through. They won't be thinking clearly. So you need to keep a level head. Think before you act. Like somebody comes knocking and they're starving and they've got kids with them. What are you going to do? That's a decision you need to discuss with your family and know ahead of time what your plan is for that. If things get bad, you need to have a schedule of who's going to be up and at what times to stand guard. To be alert, to alert the rest of the family as to what's going on. Now, I don't suggest doing these in like 4 or 8 hour shifts or nothing like that. I suggest every 2 hours a different person take the shift. That way no one person is going to fall asleep easily. Most of us can stay awake at least 2 hours. And in our family, I always take first watch. I'm used to being able to stay up long hours, and even when I'm exhausted. So, everybody else will get a little sleep. The next person takes my place. I go to sleep and then we just keep rotating. But, these are little. They may seem insignificant, but these are very important things in an SHTF. You need to discuss it all with your family. Everybody needs to know what they should be doing in an SHTF. There should be no dissension among you. Everybody should know who's in charge, and who has the final say. They should know that, if there's any argument about any of it, then that one person's decision is final. Okay? Now, as far as physical, I suggest everybody try their best to get as much exercise as possible. Like when we go hiking through the woods or whatever, I will wear, and everybody in my family, I make them all wear their bug out bags so that they get used to the fact of how much it weighs. I've taught them how to use the game trails so that they can escape without being detected. I've taught them how to basically cover their tracks so that they can't be followed very easily. My boys are pretty good at it. My girls are so-so at it. But, they all know that the game trails are the best way to escape. Stay off the roads. Use the game trails to run. But I've taught them all how to hunt, fish, trap, all of that. And these are skills that were passed down to me from my grandfather and so forth, but that's the thing, is you need to pass this information along. Your kids at first may resist. They may not like the idea of all that it entails, but find a way to make it fun, like I did with my kids. They, well, my youngest daughter, she took to roughing it in the wild like you wouldn't believe, and you wouldn't have thought it, because she was always this, girly girl. But you get her out there in the woods, and my Lord, that girl, she becomes Rambo. I mean, she loves it. She's all about survival. I've got other girls that are they're like, I ain't never going to need this, But, they also know that when they're around me, if it hits the fan, you follow my orders. That's all there is to it. You follow my orders or you get left behind. Now, I love my kids, but I'm not going to risk everybody's life over one child, especially one that's a grown adult. They make their decisions, whether or not they want to follow. That's up to them. But you really need to prepare, because I don't think things are going to get any better anytime soon. Set up plans, practice your plans, try to get in the best shape that you can. I realize that's not always that easy, but try to keep your mind right. Don't let the things that have happened over the last year get to you so bad that they bring you down into a depression, because that's not going to help you. That's going to endanger you and those around you, because you need to be able to think straight. This is Dan with We the People Prepping. I hope I've given you something to think about tonight, something to help you to plan even. Sit down and discuss. If you like my content, then I ask that you would subscribe, hit the like button, ring that little bell as well to notify you when I upload new videos, and share my content. Spread the word. This is Dan, and I wish each and every one of you a blessed night. Take care of each other. Remind each other how much you love each other. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.